7:52 at KNEB, overcast and 62. Time for today's News Extra, brought to you by Vista Beam Wireless Internet. Here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about, it's hard to believe, the 24th annual Theater West Garden Walk coming up this weekend, Sunday, 4 to 8 p.m. We have Winn and Jan Johnson here with us to talk about that. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So, Mary, hard to believe, 24th annual. And you guys are doing a twilight tour, 4 to 8. You started this last year, found out this was a good idea, right?
It seemed to be a great idea because not only are we able to have people attend that work on Saturdays, it seemed as if we had more men in attendance, maybe not quite as hot as tours held earlier in the day. So last year was our trial year, and I think we'll stick with it at least for a while.
All right, 4 to 8 p.m. this coming Sunday, so you can get your gardening and golfing in or whatever you need to do and still do the garden walk, and that makes it kind of nice, huh?
Exactly.
All right. So you have 5 really nice yards. Kind of explain why you guys decided to do this 24 years ago, just basically to show off all the beautiful things that people do around with their homes, right?
Yes, if I remember correctly, I believe this was kind of the brainchild of Judy Chalupka and the late Jerry Van Steenberg, and wanting to have a fundraiser that was different and kind of modeled it after a garden tour held in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
So that's how it all began.
Yeah, this is a fundraiser, by the way, for Theater West, as the name kind of suggests, right? Theater West Garden Walk. And you pick 5 homes, 5 yards. I know we were in it one year. And if you are picked to do this, I remember, I think Bill Peters and Gretchen Peters looked over our back fence or something during the early spring to see if they wanted to do our yard. But anyway, so you pick 5 yards.
Now we line up the yards the summer before, usually starting in August.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's better. So the 5 yards you pick, let's kind of go over those, and then we'll talk to Jan here a little bit about some of the reasons she's part of this too. But maybe you guys can share the places you're going this year.
Well, I can tell a little bit about the Scotts Bluff yards. We have Ron and Ann Charles on Avenue N. They are iris enthusiasts, and so even though the iris have already bloomed, they have 150 identified varieties in their yard. It isn't a large yard, but it is just packed with all kinds of plants, a pond, some very creative hanging pots. And from there, the other Scottsbluff yard is Ralph and Joy Phelps on Idlewild. And they have a much larger yard, just a great abundance of perennials, annuals, some very creative use of space as far as how they have the garden laid out.
All right.
And then we have a really big landscape in the country. Terry and Paula Shank, who live out a little bit a little bit east of the airport. And they have a huge pond that is fed by some natural springs, a beautiful raised garden, and just all kinds of plantings around this very large landscape.
Okay, that's on Highland Road. So, Jan, why don't you talk about the 2 over in Goering? One of them's kind of over by my neighborhood, right?
Yes, that's on 1700 Yucca, and that's the Miller House. He's retired Navy, and so a lot of their theme is centered around the kind of a patriotic sense of country. And she's done some beautiful things, and there's a big surprise. You have to go to this yard because there is a plant that is just phenomenal. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you'll have to come find out, but it is wonderful. And then over in the other part of Goering, over by the Goering Gardens Center, is Rose Kautz's house. And she's into fairy gardening, and she's got some delightful fairy gardens around the yard, and also has some eucalyptus that has really, I have never seen sort of planted in this part of the country. So, and it's just packed with absolutely gorgeous flowers. So, not to be missed.
All right, we'll take a break, tell you how you can get involved, how much it costs to do this right after this.
Everyone deserves reliable and affordable high-speed internet. Just think about how much you use it every day. The internet's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. And you shouldn't have to wait for the slow speeds of DSL to bring it to you. Well, thanks to VistaBeam, you won't have to. We're climbing towers, hitting the streets, and working hard to bring a better choice of high-speed internet to those of you who don't feel you have a lot of choices. The future can't wait for DSL. Contact VistaBeam for true high-speed internet at vistabeam.com or 308-635-9434. VistaBeam, delivering the future today.
We're back on News Extra this morning. Mary Winn and Jan Johnson telling us about the Theater West Garden Walk, the 24th annual, 4 to 8 p.m. this Sunday. If you want to get involved and travel around and see these 5 beautiful homes, how do you get that done, Mary?
Well, you could go to any of the local garden centers, Goering Garden Center, TLC, ABC Nursery, even Great Gardens in Torrington, as well as the Emporium, and buy the tickets there. Board members may still have a few tickets, and they're also at the Theater West box office. So if you're hopefully going to see the production of Godspell tonight, Thursday or Friday or Saturday, you could pick up a ticket there as well.
All right, $12 in advance,
$15 the day of the walk if purchased. You know, we will have the tickets at the different garden sites, but they're $15 then. And children under 10 accompanied by an adult are free.
All right, very good. And by the way, I'll put in a plug-in for Godspell. Very good show.
It's excellent.
It is. It's really good, and it got about a week left to do it. So if you get a chance,
that's right. The rest of this week.
If you have a chance, go see Godspell. All right. So very good. So 24th annual. Make sure you get it done this week, 4 to 8 p.m. This coming Sunday at those 5 different gardens, and get your tickets at any of the nursing centers. Jan, Mary, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun this morning.
You bet.